Roll call.
Commissioner Gallagher?
Here.
Commissioner Mullins?
Aye.
Commissioner Wilkinson?
Present.
Quorum present.
Okay, as you wish, I'm on the meeting. As you wish, stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we ask your guidance and your presence as we do the business of the county. We ask that you ease some of the panic that we're experiencing and give people peace. We'll get through this. We ask all this in Jesus' name.
Thank you. Consent agenda on this St. Patrick's Day is approval of last week's minutes, removal of the front inventory for a shredder for JDC, appointment order of Ryan Sherkus, Sheriff's Department, and a monthly report by the auditor.
We move that we approve the consent agenda.
And I'd second the motion.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
There are no table agenda items, and the first item is something I'm happy about. We talked a month ago or more to Ryan and Jacqueline Hampton about their son, Ken. And so we now have a proclamation from the governor. Two of them have a letter and a proclamation I'd like to present to them. And Dad's here, and very wisely they decided not to bring the baby out. I'll read this. I'm writing to express my admiration for the strength and resiliency of your 16-month-old son, Kent Hampton. The strength of young Kent is undoubtedly evident in the wake of his numerous procedures, including 3 open-heart surgeries to fight his congenital heart defect. I am happy to hear that the St. Francis County Commission has recognized Kent's struggle and admires his strength as I do. Last month, I proclaimed the week of February 7 through 14 as Congenital Heart Defect Awareness Week, as it is paramount that we continue our research to identify origins and symptoms of CHD. By doing so, we can continue to better our treatment capabilities of CHD for the sake of our future children. Kent has already demonstrated the strength of a survivor, and I have no doubt that he will grow to be a determined young man who can overcome anything. I will hold Kent and your entire family in my thoughts and prayers as you continue your fight against CHD. Signed, Michael L. Parson, Governor of Missouri. There's that one.
Very good.
And the proclamation from the governor and from Jay Ashcroft, Secretary of State. State of Missouri Governor's Proclamation. Whereas the health and well-being of all children throughout our state of Missouri are of paramount importance to Missouri's families and communities, and whereas thousands of children are born with birth defects every year, including approximately 40,000 children in the United States who begin life with one or more of 35 identified forms of congenital heart defects, and whereas congenital heart defects are among our state of Missouri's most common birth defects, and they can be fatal due to their seriousness. Insufficient, effective medical intervention options and the limited availability of infant donor hearts, and whereas the origins and symptoms of congenital heart defects are becoming more readily identifiable, and the range of surgical options are expanding continuously thanks to doctors and scientists' diligent research efforts and field experiences that extend our body of knowledge every day. And whereas there is much to learn about the causes of and effective treatments for congenital heart defects, and it is important for parents, pediatricians, and nurses to recognize the warning signs associated with congenital heart defects among newborns so they can provide proper treatment as early as possible. And whereas many of Missouri's families and communities are directly or indirectly affected by infant illness and death caused by congenital heart defects, and I applaud the efforts of doctors and scientists everywhere who work diligently to solve life's medical mysteries and to improve the quality of life for us all. Now therefore, I, Michael L. Parson, Governor of the State of Missouri, do hereby proclaim February 7 through 14, 2020 to be Congenital Heart Defect Awareness Week in Missouri, and I call this observance to the attention of all our citizens. In testimony whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and cause to be affixed the Great Seal of the State of Missouri in the city of Jefferson this 8th day of January 2020. Michael Parson, J. Ashcroft. Thank you, sir. Again, our best to you and our prayers.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now, I got a question for Louis. I understand your auditor's department just got the paperwork for the bids. Are you comfortable with us accepting bids? Have you had a chance to look through?
I'm comfortable with the road and bridge. We have not had a chance to review the maintenance, janitorial, prosecuting attorney, and assessor.
We can table items you're not comfortable with, so, the road and bridge is the first one, and so you're comfortable with that one, and go ahead.
These are our overlay projects first.
Okay,
These are not annual bids.
okay.
John Gross, Highway Administrator. Commission, we would like to bid out our overlay projects for the year. We have approximately 24 miles of road, and we have budgeted $1,450,000 for these roads. There's about 14 miles of road in District 2 and about 10 in District 1. So we're asking your permission to bid these roads out.
Okay.
On the recommendation of the highway administrator, I move that we approve the request to award bids for the overlay.
Second.
Any questions?
Because we're bidding them doesn't necessarily mean we're gonna
No,
award
we
them.
will award these as they're prepared and they are ready.
Okay. Okay, I have a motion second, and I see no comments or questions. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. And, okay, now we're gonna have the annual bids. And this is the one Louis said his department's happy with, accept.
Clay Copeland, Superintendent of Road and Bridge. We received our annual bids, they were opened last Tuesday, and myself and John Gross, Highway Administrator, has had an opportunity to review them, and we have recommendations on which bids to award for the certain products that we're gonna be purchasing for the upcoming year. So I'll go through these one at a time. Auto Tire and Parts Napa is the only bid we received for batteries, so we would go for the bid for them. I'll do these one at a time. For our fuel, diesel fuel and gasoline, our lowest bid was from Bauman Oil, which is our current provider at this time, and we would request that they be awarded the bid for our fuel for the 2020 year. Our asphalt that we purchase throughout the year for patching and for our use as we improve roads. We actually have 3 bids, one from Fred Weber Incorporated, which is in Festus, which is the only place that we can receive a certain asphalt product. It's called Easy Street that we use for potholing. We've also received a bid from Lead Belt Materials and also from Bauman Oil, or from Mineral Area Asphalt. And these 2 local asphalt plants, we would request that they both be awarded, as I will address our rock and our aggregate bids. Whichever plant we're closest to, because the prices are very similar, whichever plant we're closest to, and whichever plant has it available for that day is who we would go with. Since the prices are so similar, we would like to award it to all 3 of these vendors. Like I say, the Fred Weber and Festus, they have a product that these other 2 quarries cannot, the other 2 plants cannot provide.
Do the asphalt prices have a rider about the oil price?
They do fluctuate, and the bids that they give us now is what the oil index is currently.
Okay.
So they will fluctuate and change as oil index prices change, and it changes once a month, and there's a MoDOT index that we can look at if we choose to check to make sure that they are fluctuating their prices with the oil index, but they do. So the price we have right now may not necessarily be the price that we're paying throughout the year. Same way with fuel. Fuel fluctuates as well.
Based on the daily Opus average.
Right. Okay, for our tires, now this is a bid that we're going to, that we've fine-tuned, if you will, that we're going to award certain tires to certain vendors in an effort to save money. And for our rear drive truck tires, which there will be no installation fee, they deliver them to us and we can change them ourselves. The lowest bid and who we'd like to go with was Purcell Tire for our drive tires only on our dump trucks.
Will those include recaps? You can recap the rear tires, but not the rear tires.
Yeah, but we don't.
Okay.
For safety reasons, we don't run recaps. Then for our grader tires and our front flotation steer tires, which is on our tandem trucks, our lowest price and who we'd like to go with for that would be Ron's Tire for those two products only. And then for the rest of our tires and for our road service and all of our vehicle, trucks, trailer tires and all that, our best price and the most economical solution or choice there was for Best Drive Commercial Tire Center in Farmington. Now, we will know that only our rear tires come from Purcell, only our flotation, our graders come from Ron's, everything else goes graders.
Okay, right now Ron's shut down.
Well, they are, but, and Ron's currently has our tire bid, they have the 2019 bid, but he has been in contact with our mechanics and said he's up and running and he can provide anything we need. Now, this will all change after today upon the approval of the commission, but he did experience a fire here a week or so ago, but he's assured us that he can provide us anything that we need, it's still available. So that's our tire bid recommendation on the tire bids. On the concrete, Polite Ready Mix was our lowest bid, even though, and if the auditor may want to review these bids, we received two bids. The price from AAA Zollner per yard is cheaper on the bid, but they charge a hauling fee. And with Polite Ready Mix, that hauling fee is added into their price. So you kind of had to read into this a little bit, but our lowest bid is Polite Ready Mix, and that's who we recommend to go with.
Is the AAA Zone, is that the one up on North 67?
Yes,
In the back?
yes. They're by the shop.
Stone, okay.
By the shop,
Okay.
Barney's. All right, for our culvert pipe, and I'm sure the sheriff's familiar with the shop. On our culvert pipe, moving right along. Our culvert pipe, we received two bids, one for our high-density plastic double wall pipe that we are in the process of utilizing on recommendation of our engineer, and then our metal culvert pipe. We received the two bids, one for one product, one for the other. So essentially, we received one bid for each product. And Waterworks Specialties in Bonterra off of Berry Road is who we would recommend for our plastic culvert pipe, and then Contact, who has provided us with our metal culvert for many, many years, and they were the only two bids we received, so we would recommend that. For our salt, we went with the lowest bid that we received, $77.50 per ton for annual salt, and it is the company that we've used for many, many years. They have changed their name. It used to be Lane Stegman, now it's Oakley, and we just assume go with them, the lowest bid. They tend to our needs very well.
That's a ton, by the way.
Per ton, $77.50 per ton.
It was
That is
88 a year ago or so.
Yeah.
That's the same price that we sell it to the school districts or the
Yeah.
college or anybody else.
And through the efforts of the commission to provide it to the school districts and the college and any other municipalities, the cities, they purchase it from us throughout the year, throughout the winter, and we charge them the price we pay for it. So, for our road oils, we received one bid, which it would be the lowest bid. They are the distributor, Missouri Petroleum, out of St. Louis, and we recommend they receive the bid for the road oils. For our rock and all of our aggregate, as we have done in the past, we would recommend that basically all quarries receive the bids. The prices are very similar, and it's more economic and more practical for us to just use whichever quarry we're closest to. There's, I think, 6 quarries in the county right now, and we utilize them all. We always have. We just buy whichever one we're closest to. So we would recommend that they all receive the bids and that we'd be allowed to purchase from them all. Okay, for our fleet engine oils, for our lubricants, this was one that we reviewed extensively, and we have a huge variety of products that we purchase, the grease, the oils, the engine oils, and overall our cheapest route to go with the lowest prices was Home Service Oil Company. Now, of these bids, there were some companies that were lower on certain things and some that were lower. But as a whole, on the average, a Home Service Oil Company would be our most economical way to go. And we don't really want to split all these oils up to say we get transmission fluid from this company, and road oil, motor oil from this company, and grease from this company. We want to have it consolidated with one company, and they are the cheapest bid overall for what we will be purchasing the most of. So Home Service Oil for that. And then the only other one that we have, and I think we're going to wait, is for our signs. There's been some discrepancies on our specifications that we had on our sign bids, and until we can clean these up with the vendors that are out there, it was an inadvertent mistake on our part that we not have the specifications on how we want to receive our signs. So to make it fair to the other bidders, this may be something that we even actually rebid. But of our annual bids, this is the only one that we choose not to award today. And we'll re-entertain that at more likely at the next commission. So other than the signs, that's the recommendations that both John and I have for our annual bids.
Got a recommendation?
Yes.
On the recommendation of the highway superintendent, I move that we award the bids as supplied for the annual purchases and deal with the other at a later date.
We'll just have to table again.
And I will second that.
Any questions? About 6 years ago, they came out with the new high retro reflective signs, and they're falling apart.
They're, yeah, it's whether it's an underlay or an overlay on some of the, and they peel off. And our sign men, which of course they've been attending classes just recently, they do this yearly, to stay up on the retro reflectivity and to stay compliant with federal mandates on our signage. And they've had some issues on some of the signs that we've received that not being compliant with that. That was not specifically put in our bids, so in order to make it fair to all bidders, we may have to change that.
That's the challenges we face. There's a number of unfunded mandates throughout the years, that retroreflectivity, that being one, prisoner per diem, that being two. There's many out there, so that's a challenge.
There is, and this changes yearly, and our guys stay up on that. Of course, we promote them going to the training to stay up on that as well. We pay for that, but until we get this straightened up, we'll just have to wait.
Any questions? Any other? Okay, I have a motion and second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you so much. Okay, the assessor's bid, now that was one that you're not ready yet?
We're not confident in awarding or making any suggestions for assessor, maintenance, and janitorial and prosecuting attorney.
Let's table those.
I move that we table the 3 annual award bids until we're getting that cleared by the auditor's department.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay, we'll table those items.
Commissioner, I might just point out that the reason that even though they were open last Tuesday, the clerk's office was incredibly busy with election last week and some vacancies, and consequently, we did not receive this information until yesterday, so we're busy reviewing it. Amber is busy making an Excel sheet so that we can accurately take a look and cross-reference the bids.
Sorry. Thank you. Okay, the collector wishes us to reject some bids and rebid printed materials and stamps. Action.
Move that we postpone or table this until we can rebid the collector's printed materials.
Okay, so basically give her permission to rebid it. Okay.
And I will second.
Okay, any questions? Pam, any comments? Okay, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you. Reappointment request, we have a request by the Department of Developmentally Disabled. Wants us to reappoint Chris Morrison as his term is about to expire.
I would move that we reappoint Chris Morrison to the St. Francis County Developmentally Disabled Board.
And I would second the motion.
Any questions? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
And there's a list of their current board members on Properties to be sold by trustee, I think there's I count 108 properties on there. Motion,
I would move that we allow the trustee to sell the 108 properties.
And I second the motion.
questions? Okay, all in favor of this, and that 108 is my approximate count. This list of properties, please say aye. Aye, thank you so much. And, plans for the near future, this is what my thinking is. I think we need to cut our number of meetings by half. We're only required one meeting every 3 months, one quarter. So we're having 12 times as many meetings as possible as we need. Both our governor and our president have asked us to curtail this kind of activity. So let's start meeting every other week.
So we will not meet next week.
We'll not meet
correct?
next week, but we will on the 31st.
And the 31st falls, obviously at the end of the month, but then we've got the new term that
Then we got-
following
yeah,
Monday.
yeah, then we're required by law to have one the next Monday, I believe it is. So we'll have that. But, and we're strongly urging the public to use mail, phone, email, website, and fax to do your business. Come in the minimum number of times you can, and do it electronically if you can. And then discourage our employees' travel and exposure. And all experience of science, epidemiology, and patriotism. So, next meeting will be March 31st, 2020. Other business, correspondence?
Commissioners, I received a phone call from Matt Bain, who is with Senator Josh Hawley's office in Cape. He basically reached out to us to let him know the senator, they're looking at 8 packages, and if we need anything to please correspond. So, it was nice to hear from him, so just wanted to let you know that.
Public comments? Well, under departmental reports, I want to talk about Dano and our IT guys and, Amber, and just on and on, people that we've got in our different positions that have stood up and helped us so much. And Dan Bullock has worked with his group and repositioned the way they respond to some calls and different things. And I appreciate the quality of people we have working for us. And thank you so much. Any other departmental reports? Okay,
Move that we adjourn.
And I second the motion.
favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you so much.